I just want everybody to know that if you're one of the ones who are obsessing over wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, and that's literally your number one obsession, then you're probably a little weird. And we're going to talk about it. What's going on, everybody? So today I want to have a little conversation about this weird partisan obsession over masks. Like, it's uncomfortable. Now understand something, everybody. I'm in a pretty weirdly unique situation. I understand that. I actually wear a mask wherever I go here in Miami, except for outside. But I am actually in the exception of the rule for masks because I have pretty severe asthma. But I wear it because it makes other people comfortable, generally speaking. Now, even though I am in that category, I still find all of y'all weird. I really do. Because it's like people believe the mask is either going to literally save your life, or they believe the mask is literally going to cause your head to spontaneously combust. There isn't really a lot of in-between discussion on this whole mask thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's uncomfortable to watch. And I hear a lot of talks about masks. But no one talks about the fact that the $600 a month for unemployment is about to expire. I mean, and remember, you never did get another check for the stimulus package like the corporations got. I don't hear enough talk about that. I hear a lot of talk about masks, but I don't hear a lot of talk about the sanctions that we are using to purposely commit siege warfare on Venezuela and Iran as we speak. But most importantly, regarding this issue, because I know people are very selfish and self-centered, they're very self-important, so they're worried about this and this alone. I hear a lot of obsession about masks, but I hear like zero obsessions over the fact that y'all have had solutions literally out there for the world to use, and you haven't been allowed to use them because you're in the United States. And we have sanctions on the countries who created these. And of course, most importantly, the United States doesn't have, or the corporations that control the big pharma entity within the United States don't have a patent on these particular solutions. Now, I understand why people feel like the mask is necessary as far as preventative maintenance is concerned, but it is merely that, preventative maintenance. And that's it. But it is far from the last step that we should take and that we're going to need to take if we want the United States to get back to normal anytime soon. Now, what solutions am I referring to? Well, there are two that have been proven to work pretty well. One of them being hydroxychloroquine and zinc. But, of course, hydroxychloroquine has also become a damn political argument. I don't really understand what the political argument is because it was here forever ago. And then as soon as COVID hit, it's, oh man, you'll die if you take it. And then they're like, oh, our bad. No, you won't. It actually helps. But don't take it, please, because we don't have any stocks invested in hydroxychloroquine like we should. Okay. We want you to take our drug. So be nice. So that one's become highly politicized. So let's move on away from that one really quick. There's one that's better than hydroxychloroquine. I bet you didn't know that. The drug is called interferon. Why have you never heard of it? Well, it's because you live in the United States. It's primarily used in Cuba. And we have sanctions on Cuba. And we can't give Cuba credit for anything. God knows. They literally created a lung cancer drug. Inhaler, I'm healed. No more cancer. But we don't even talk about that, right? You can't even get that at your local pharmacy, even though it literally is a prescribed drug in Cuba. Okay, so let's check out this interview from this doctor. It's an article done by Telesur, and it's a doctor who says that for 40 years Cuba has been using a molecule named interferon alpha 2b, which has successfully been used to combat the new coronavirus in China and elsewhere. See, this is once again is where it gets a little bit weird for you obsessing over the mask people. Don't worry, we're going to address the obsession of not wearing the mask thing too, because that's kind of Y'all getting a little weird with that. I don't know what the hell. Now, if you got breathing problems, that's a whole different thing. But if you're obsessing over the mask or not wearing the mask because like literally you're just worried your head's going to spontaneously combust or something, that's a whole different problem, bro. We're going to have a conversation about that. But a lot of people will point to Japan and China and South Korea because they're like, oh man, they were able to just completely combat and cure the virus by wearing masks. No, that's not actually the case. Once again, masks are preventative. They can be a buffer, but they were never meant to be the only solution. And these other countries are fully aware of that. And this is one of the drugs that they've been using preventatively and as far as treatment is concerned. Now, the doctor goes on to say, the world has an opportunity to understand that health is not a commercial asset, but a basic right. Cuban doctor Luis Herrera, the creator of the interferon alpha 2B medicine, one of the most successful medications in the fight against COVID-19, told Telesur. And this was March 17th. So this drug has been available. I covered it a couple of times on this show, but I feel like we got to have this conversation again because a lot of people, once again, they're weirding me out, bro. They're weirding me out. All right, it goes on. The article goes on to say the interferon has been known for more than 40 years. First, it was produced from the original sources in local sites, then nationally, and later the United States and even Finland. At the beginning of the 80s, an important professor from Houston came to Cuba and advised our president, Fidel Castro, that the interferon we had here was a very interesting molecule for a different purpose, Herrera told Telesur. Then a group of people went to Finland to get training for the production of the drug, while people were also producing interferon from recombined sources using genetic engineering. The first one was beta interferon, and guess where it was done at? In Japan. For those of you who were wondering, I don't understand how Japan is doing so well with this with just using masks. Because it isn't just masks. You don't end up in the hospital with COVID in Japan, walk into the hospital, get a bed, and the nurse walks in with a mask. It's like, good luck, you're cured. That's not how it works, bro. That's not how it works. It says that the second one, the family of the alpha interferon was done by a geneticist in California, according to the Cuban doctor. 1 year later in Cuba, we cloned different genes of interferon from local sites, and we started to produce interferon in 1981 and 1982, which we used in the outbreak of dengue fever, and we presented the results to the United States and California. One of the ways that the virus can multiply inside the cells by decreasing the level of interferon naturally produced in human cells. The molecules thus, though a different metabolic way, can create conditions to limit replication of the virus. So I'll repeat that again. So if you're trying to understand, well, how will it work? This is about as lame as terms I can get. One of the ways that the virus can multiply inside the cells is by decreasing the levels of interferon naturally produced in the human cells. The molecule, which is interferon, thus, through a different metabolic way, can create conditions to limit the replication of the virus. In other words, the interferon, the depletion of your interferon is cut off by this drug. The virus cannot multiply if interferon is too abundant. This drug prevents that from happening. All right, this drug allows the abundance of the interferon that you need to combat the drug from replicating to happen. This is not conjecture. This isn't something that we found out a year ago. This isn't something that we found out 6 months ago or being forced to take for some unknown reason. I know this wasn't suggested to us by a software engineer who literally can't make a computer that lasts for more than 2 years. But these are the facts. This is 40 years of research. This is 40 years of research separate from the political discourse and the hyperpartisanship that we are experiencing right now. One of the main parts of the scientific method is time, results over time, effects over time. interferon has withstood the test of time to the degree that it can literally cure hepatitis, people. There is no political debate to be had here. And yet there is no obsession over the fact that there is no political debate to be had here. This damn drug works. This is a fact. This is used in China. This is used in Japan. This is used in South Korea. This is used in 40 plus other nations. And yet we have no access to it. Why? Because of sanctions and greed. And yet, for some reason, I gotta see wall-to-wall conversations about masks. Masks, which we need only because we don't have a legitimate solution being presented to us right now, at least according to the United States. I dare you to go look up the amount of COVID cases and COVID deaths in Africa. Matter of fact, we could do it right now. I got a computer right here in front of me. Let's look this up. COVID. Y'all know I gotta look somewhere else other than the WHO because the Africa don't like the WHO right now. Okay, hold on. I had to make sure I was on DuckDuckGo. Huh? Okay, so let's see where we at. So we at allafrica.com. So I want to let y'all know what it's looking like right now. This is July 18th, so this is new. You know how many COVID cases they have? When everybody else hitting like these crazy highs, for example, like Florida supposedly had like a record number. I think it got up to 12,000 new cases or something like that. Whether or not you believe it, I know some people are skeptical about those numbers. Not that like you don't have a right to be, and that you don't have a reason to be, but let's just accept that as fact, right? Let's just accept that that's 12,000 we had. California at one point, I think, had hit a 9,000. You know how much the entire country of Nigeria recorded as far as the spike is concerned? 600 cases. Total, they've had 3 fatalities. 3. It says that other nations, this is apparently, hold on, let me make sure I'm not crazy. This is, I want to read off some of the numbers for the reasons, for the different countries and different regions. 87, 55, 42, 35, 28, 16, 13, 12, 12, 11, 11, 8, 6, 6, 6, 4, 4, and 3. On the entire continent, they've only experienced 35,000 confirmed cases. Not a lot of deaths, though. I would expect there to be confirmed cases, but there are not a lot of deaths. And like I said, in the entire country of Nigeria, there were 3. Why do you think that is? And we don't even know if those people had comorbidities. We don't know their age. They didn't put that information in the article. This is all Africa. You know why? Because Africa isn't politicizing the solutions they use. I wonder how many confirmed cases they have in Cuba. Let's look that up. And then how many people died. How many? I use DuckDuckGo for those of you who are wondering. We don't promote Google around here. How many COVID cases in Cuba? Listen, y'all. Oh, hold up. Let me go. That's too old. That's March 16th. I want to do some more recent. May, nah. Oh shit, y'all gonna love this one. So remember how I just told y'all, Cuba is kind of like the inventor of interferon, right? Just like they invented literally inhalable cancer cures. kind of want to go live. If it wasn't for the crippling sanctions that we have on Cuba, it ain't a bad option. I know like 70% of the country is like mixed or black. So, I mean, I want to tell y'all about these damn communists. And this is an article by Reuters. Closing in on all sides, Cuba nears declaring coronavirus victory. Reina Paula, a saleswoman at Havana's La Época supermarket, said the same day that a worker tested positive for the coronavirus, local authorities sent the rest of the staff in a fleet of state vehicles to isolation facilities for testing. So they were prepared with the health system that can react when situations like this happen, part one. So healthcare providers traced their relatives and sent them into quarantine, while the state news outlets publicly appealed to anyone who had close contact with them to come forward to prevent the virus from spreading. They followed the clinical steps like a Swiss clock, said Paula. At home, after recovering from the worst COVID, the respiratory disease the novel coronavirus causes. So then it says that those who were tested to the hospital where they were given antiviral trials and immune system boosters while they were sent home to quarantine for 2 weeks. They had a rigorous approach to the coronavirus outbreak. Now I want to be very clear about something. Why do you think people were so comfortable with this? Okay, hey, one person has it. Everybody, we have to go to testing right now. If you're fine, go home. If you're not, first of all, we are going to send you to the hospital. Not to, I don't know what the hell, not to give you a damn, what do they call them? The breathing machines that help breathe for you. I can't remember what they're called. But y'all know what I'm talking about. But they're not going to give you that. What you say? No, not a breathalyzer. What? See, she partied a little bit. My wife partied a little bit too much. Okay, talking about some breathalyzers. How many of them tests you done took? It's a damn shame. Anyway, but they're not sending you there for one of those breathing machines. They're sending you there with not only immune system boosters, but interferon, a solution. So because of that, and this is almost a month ago, Cuba's basically able to conquer and claim victory. 2/3 of the island is virus free, according to official data. And they had 9 consecutive days at this time with no death at all, even if the people had comorbidities. Ventilator, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Oh man, I forgot about that part, Eric. I'm glad I caught that. So they were okay with following what the government said because it involved getting tested, getting a solution in the hospital, but not having to pay $15,000 for that solution, then being put on quarantine, and then making sure that the safety net within them that was not going to fall out from under them as far as their jobs are concerned. But the solution is why people felt so comfortable. A solution that's been in here for 40 years. A solution that has literally cured hepatitis. A solution that 40 other countries, at least, probably more than that now, but at least 40 other countries are using. The solution that we are not allowed to have because sanctions and money. So my question is, why is everybody so obsessive over masks and not solutions? And this is a solution, by the way, that you can use as a preventative measure too. That's what's even more. Like, you don't have to get it and then, like, you get sick and you're like, oh man, I gotta do this now. No, hey, I can just go to the hospital, especially if you're in Cuba, go to the hospital, get an interferon treatment and walk out and be good. And why are we talking about masks and not the fact that we don't have access to this shit, but everybody who's telling you and virtue signaling you one way or the other on masks, why aren't they talking about the fact that people are pretending to care about lives lost on either side, and you won't even look at the solutions that are right in front of you? Please explain this to me. Because I know what some people on the right will say. I know we've been picking at the people on the left. Oh, I can't wear my mask because it's civil liberty. Is civil liberties why you are so concerned with talking about masks and not talking about the solution? Oh, let me guess. The civil liberties is why you're going to insult Cuba as a communist country. And that probably has a lot to do with why you won't talk about the solution, because, anything that comes from Cuba probably gives you AIDS, if you ask some of these people. Can't come from Cuba. Solution can't come from Cuba because it's a communist solution, and communists want to take your taxes away. That's why they don't talk about it. They never even thought to look in that direction. So yeah, both of y'all sound kind of weird. The ones who don't want to wear masks, y'all sound weird. The people who want to wear masks and want to attack everybody else who just dares to step out their house without wearing a mask, you sound weird too. And the reason you both sound weird is because a lot of mask talking, but no solution talking. And that's the problem. That is why the solutions are not being presented to us. That is why people are likely going to be forced to take a vaccine that has not even been tested over the last 6 or 7 months, let alone the last 40 years, that we cannot possibly see the negative or positive long-term effects. Like interferon has positive long-term effects over time, right? Same thing with hydroxychloroquine and zinc. They have positive long-term effects over time. So it won't just help you with this particular issue. It would help you with actual other issues as well. But when you're talking about a vaccine, we actually don't have the positive or negative effects over time, because it could be negative effects that you don't find out for 2 years or a year, 6 months, 7 months even. There could be some positive effects, like long-term immunity that could be had, but we don't know. And we don't even know if the positive effects outweigh the negative effects. We don't know. We can't possibly know, because there's not enough time. There's not enough time to be had. So am I crazy? Am I crazy for feeling like everybody is weird? Or is there somebody else? Do y'all agree with me? Am I just being too pessimistic? Am I being a nihilist? Like, I feel like I'm saying here because like other countries agree with me. But I understand Cuba's communist and Africa's full of black people. I know how y'all don't really like to listen to those people. God forbid black people ever try to warn y'all about something. Like the Kardashians, Ray tried to tell y'all about the Kardashians, but y'all was so concerned over the fact that he hit it first. Y'all wasn't even paying attention. He was trying to drop some truth on y'all. But in all seriousness, I feel like this is pretty common sense stuff. But there's clearly, on one side or the other, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, there is a narrative siege happening right in front of us. And whether or not you're willing to admit it, you may have been actively participating in it without even realizing it. It's like with the economy stuff, right? People want to say, everybody wants to take all my money. Nobody wants to give me any money. I don't need their money. My question is, why the hell do I have to debate with Congress about a safety net, a stipend for me that my taxes pay for? And then people are getting their $1,200 checks and spending it on, businesses and car. Can you believe that somebody would get a $1,200 check and get their little $600 a week unemployment and go buy a car at the dealership down the street that employs your uncle, that spends his money back into the economy, the economy that we need to be robust so we can continue to spend money in this economy and make money in this economy, And people get really obsessed over that, which is weird. But nobody's getting obsessed over the fact that you got to fight for your money. You got to have an argument with Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell over whether or not you get your money that you spent. But they ain't going to have an argument over whether the corporations get your money, because the corporations got a lot of your money while cutting on these taxes. They out here Donald Trump and their taxes every damn day. You know what I'm saying? What was that company? They just fired 3,200 people. It was a company that just did this. Fired 3,200 people and gave over $9 million in bonuses to their CEOs and executives. So nobody gonna ask why that's a thing, but everybody wants to argue about what people are doing with their money. It's virtue signaling, all of it. It's a bunch of social justice warrior virtue signaling from all sides. If you're not talking about the solutions, I don't really want to hear about the problem. Cause I trust me, I have problems too. I can identify a problem like that. I don't need an expert for that. Well, we do need more people to talk about these solutions if we ever want to put pressure on the government and the people who are in control of these conversations to start having the actual conversations that we need and to start giving us the solutions that we need. I'd like to know what you think about this. Like this video, share this video. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment below, but always remember more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. If you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockfin Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.